Good morning. We have already read the poem Like as the Waves, written by William Shakespeare. Let us have a little discussion about it. As we have seen that in this sonnet, William Shakespeare discusses the power of time to take life from even the most beautiful ones, as well as the power of a poet or a writer to fight back. As we saw that in this poem, the speaker spends the majority of the poem using personification to describe time as a force that gives first and then takes away everything. It chooses to destroy all of that which it once created. It also leads even the best of nature into destruction, corrupting a pure brow with wrinkles. In the last lines, we saw that the speaker says that no matter what time tries to do, his writings are going to survive forever, and therefore they will be immortal. They can never die. So as we saw that this sonnet of William Shakespeare, it is a 14-line poem that is contained within one stanza in the form which has become synonymous to the poet's name, that is Shakespearean sonnet. Now the English or the Shakespearean sonnet, which is also known as, the same sonnet is also called Elizabethan sonnet. It is made up of 3 quatrains, as I told you, or it is a set of 4 lines and one concluding or the final couplet. 2 lines are known as couplet or a set of 2 rhyming lines. And the poem generally follows a consistent rhyme scheme in the pattern of AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and the final couplet rhymes into GG. And it is usually written in iambic pentameter. There is an exception in this particular poem in the use of brow and mow in the 3rd stanza, 3rd quatrain. These are half rhymes instead of full ones. Now iambic pentameter means that each line contains 5 sets of 2 beats, which are metrically known as feet. The first is unstressed and the second is stressed. And as is common in Shakespeare's poems, the last 2 lines are rhyming pair, known as a couplet, as we see in this poem also. And they often bring with them a turn, which is known as, the word used for this twist or turn is the volta, V-O-L-T-A, in the poem. They are sometimes used to answer a question posed in the previous 12 lines. They shift the perspective or sometimes even change speakers. Now in this case, the turn declares that all the powers of time are useless in the face of the poet's own words or poems. Here Shakespeare makes use of several poetic techniques. These include alliteration. As I told you earlier, what is alliteration? It is the repetition of sounds. And personification means giving human qualities to innate objects. And enjambment. The first of these, alliteration, is the use of the same sound as I told you at the beginning of multiple words. For example, crawls, crowned, and crooked in 6th line and 7th line, and in the look at the words glory and gift in 7 and 8 lines. So this is known as alliteration, repetition of sounds. Then personification occurs, as I told you, when a poet lends human qualities to inanimate objects. In this case, Shakespeare uses personification to depict time as a being with the power to choose to destroy. It has a nature and its own agency and power. So one of the most popular example is seen in this sonnet. And then comes enjambment. Enjambment is another prevalent technique in much of Shakespeare's poetry. I told you it occurs when a line is cut off before its natural stopping point. And enjambment forces a reader down to the next line and the next quickly. One has to move forward in order to comfortably resolve a phrase or a sentence. So here we see that the transition between line number 9 and line number 10. So all these techniques used by Shakespeare make this sonnet very interesting and typical of Shakespeare.